Hey everyone, it's Danny here with Old Dog Guitars. Um, I've got something I'm going to open up here. Um, did I need a new guitar? Absolutely not. And I really had no intention of buying a new guitar. But I was looking at these on Amazon, I don't know, last year sometime. I've had a couple of really good experiences with this brand, and this particular guitar caught my eye, and I thought, man, that's kind of cool, and I put it on my wish list. Well, Amazon was kind enough to notify me that an item on my wish list had been discounted. And so I don't know. It was under $300. I don't remember the exact price. Probably close to $100 less than the normal price. Um, if I hadn't had experience with this brand, I probably wouldn't have bought it. But based on my experiences with their other guitars, I know it. I know it's probably going to be nice. So the brand is Eart. I don't think anybody knows how to say it. I call it Eart. That's how it's spelled. There's no hyphen or period or space or anything in between there. So as far as I'm concerned, it's Eart. The way they package these guitars is a pain in the ass, but it seems to really protect them. Um, Very nicely molded styrofoam packing, which I'm sure is terrible for the environment, but it's great for the guitar. I guess if I ever decide to get rid of it or ship it anywhere, I've got a pretty convenient way to do that. It seems to reduce the overall package size too, which I'm sure saves on shipping. Now, more tape. All right. Instruction manual. I really love these Eart guitars come with this little, I'll show you here. They've got the truss rod adjustment in the neck, which you can just like stick an Allen wrench or whatever else in. But they come with this really neat little tool, which fits in there perfectly. Uh, I've looked for places to buy those online. I can't seem to find them anywhere. That would just be nice to have around. So here it is. I've never had anything like this before. I've never even really wanted anything like this before. I'm more of a vintage traditional guitar guy. Something about this just caught my attention. Nice little headless 6-string guitar. Paper off. They really do a nice job packaging. And so far my experience with their guitars is that they are really well set up right out of the box. That action's probably, no, that's not bad. Maybe a little higher than I like, but it's not bad. A little more relief in the neck than I would like, but that's an easy fix. It's got a 0 fret, which is kind of interesting. I've never had a guitar with a 0 fret, but I'm assuming that's going to eliminate any nut filing that I might normally need to do. It's out of tune, obviously. Got to figure out how all this works. Figure out how this bridge works. I guess those are the tuners up there on the bridge. Some humbuckers, single volume, single tone, 3-way switch. It's probably a PCB switch, which isn't my favorite, but we can pop that out and put a switchcraft in there if we need to. Nice satin finish. That's a veneer top. Okay, I kind of like it. I like it. I like it more than I thought I would. Um, I'm thinking this might actually work pretty well if I want to take something on vacation with me. It'll be small enough. Need to find a gig bag or something this size that I can stick it in. Maybe a mini strat gig bag. Um, we'll get it up on the bench and take a closer look at the action, get it tuned, and see how it sounds. Okay, got it up on the bench and tuned. Uh, check the check the string height a little bit. It's it's really not bad. 60 thousandths of an inch. I think that's probably around 4/64, somewhere around in there. Uh, 1.5 millimeters. Yeah, I can't really complain about that at all. 1.4, 1.6. That one's a little high. Uh, it's kind of interesting. They gave me Allen wrenches in the bag, but the ones that they sent me don't fit the saddle screws. Um, Still not 100% sure on these, on what all these bridge settings are for. Some of them are, I'm sure, screws to hold the strings. Hmm. 1.4. 1.3. Bring that one up just a little. Yeah, 1.3, 1.3. I think that's pretty good. Sure, we're out of tune now, so to get it tuned back up and check the intonation. Body finish is really interesting. The more I look at it, the more interesting it becomes. These obvious, my fingernail got some super glue on there protecting a broke nail. You can feel them. I mean, that's not a not a fake veneer. That's actual wood with real imperfections in the wood that you can feel. Um, the back has visible grain, which I always like. I'm a fan of that grain showing up through the wood and through the finish. Nice belly cut. Um, nice shape on the neck pocket. Really interesting, very, very well done guitar, in my opinion. A quick look in the control cavity here. It's kind of what I expected. It's got the PCB switch. It's got full-size pots. That's a, can't really see it down there. It's a 0.022 microfarad capacitor. This output jack is pretty, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. It's plastic housing right here. That's long enough. I'm not sure what I would use to replace that if I wanted to. I'll have to investigate a little bit more. I forgot to show the weight of the guitar, so I'm putting it on the scale here. It's 6.7 pounds. 2.922 grams. Okay, so this bridge adjustment took me a lot longer than it probably should have. These little brass cam here, it's the saddle, it's what the string rests on. It is adjustable, it kind of pivots a little bit. There are two Allen screws right here, one here and one here. The one on the left unlocks it, the one on the right adjusts it up and down. Some of them, if there's not enough string tension, don't like to go down by themselves, so you have to kind of push them down and then raise them back up. There's some set screws right here and some screws right here that appear to hold this tuning mechanism in place. They don't adjust anything that I can see, so I haven't messed with them any further. The intonation screws are hard to see because they are right down here underneath the string. To adjust intonation, you have to loosen the string up, kind of move it out of the way. You can back off that set screw and then you slide the saddle forwards or backwards with your fingers and tighten it back up. The tuning, this is where I feel like an idiot. I didn't really understand what this little pin was sticking off the side of the bridge here. It's a little string winder. It fits right in there and you can wind or tune to your heart's content. So I can adjust most of them with my fingers if I'm just doing a minor adjustment, but when you're changing strings, that would make it a lot simpler. To put a new string in, there's a hole in the center of these little brass tuning wheels. I think if you cut your strings to about this length, you put the ball end down in the neck, cut your string to about this length, and then stick it in the hole, and then you can just wind it right up. I've got the string height set on this neck. I went about 1.5, maybe a little under on the bass side, and then slowly started dropping it over here. We're about 1.3 on the treble side. That's about as low as I like it. You could certainly go lower on this guitar. It's the fretwork is good enough that you could go lower if you wanted to, but that's about where I like it. I can bend without it fretting out or having any problems. What else was I going to talk about here? Oh, one thing I don't think I've ever seen this before, and I'm not sure if I can get the camera on it well enough to show what's going on. Yeah, even if I dropped my camera around, I wouldn't be able to show you. So I'll explain what happened. I used the slotted gauge. I got the neck set almost perfectly straight, according to the fretboard. When the fretboard was completely straight, I could hit here, and hit here, and had a visible amount of play in the center of the frets. And so I adjusted the truss rod to take almost all of the relief out of the frets. There's a tiny bit there, but really not much. And now the fretboard shows just the slightest bit of back bow. So what I'm assuming is they leveled the frets without the fretboard being straight. That's my guess. It's not a huge deal. I mean, we're talking tiny fractions of an inch that are barely visible, even using the gauges. But it threw me because I knew I had that fretboard straight, but the frets themselves weren't quite level. The other thing, these are obviously some wax potted pickups. I adjust these pickup slugs just kind of out of habit on all my guitars. I especially drop that G string screw and raise this D string screw just a little bit. Kind of OCD. I like to stagger the direction of the screw heads. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference in tone. It's just the way I like them to look. But as I adjusted those, wax, started coming up out of there. So it takes forever to clean that crap off of those nickel pickup covers. A couple of issues that I see with this guitar so far. And they're more personal issues than anything. The first is, man, you can't set it on a stand. There's no way to set this guitar on a stand and make it work. You can't hang it on a hanger. There's no convenient way to set this guitar down and have it secure. So I'm not sure. It's certainly not going to be one of my couch guitars, because I usually keep a guitar on a stand next to the couch to play. And this isn't something that I can figure out how to leave out securely. The other thing is, it's just the non-traditional shape and look of it. Some people really dig that, I'm sure, and I'm not one of those people. I'm much more likely to grab one of my, vintage-looking Telecasters or my Gibson Les Paul or a Strat. I like guitars that look like what I remember guitars looking like when I was a kid. And this certainly doesn't look anything like that. It's a gorgeous guitar. It's well put together. It's well made. It's just not what I think of when I think about a guitar. So far, the tuning stability seems to be pretty good. I think once you learn how to use that bridge, it's a great bridge. It may grow on me. I'm going to take it on some trips traveling coming up over the next few months, and I may really learn to love it over time. So we'll see. Okay, so here's some final thought. Here's some final thoughts on the Eart Headless guitar. I think I'm going to call this the guitar I didn't know I needed, and I still don't. I still don't know if I needed it. I think it's a great guitar. It doesn't really inspire me to want to do much of anything. The pickups are really not bad at all. The volume seems to do a pretty good job of going from that edge of breakup sound where I like to play my Les Paul down to a relatively clean tone. Maintains a little definition when you get at louder volumes. The pickups are fine. I did have to adjust them. I didn't realize when I got it, they didn't look terrible, but they just bottomed those screws out. They've got them all the way down in there. The neck's great. It throws me off a lot. Like I've said before, I'm not a great player. I really have to look at what I'm doing. And I'm just used to seeing more lumber down here on the end. So it's a little harder for me to identify where my fingers are on the fretboard. When I'm on the 5th fret, it feels like I'm down here closer to the end because I'm used to seeing some space down there. I just don't know that I will play this enough to really justify keeping it. I'm going to take it on some trips with me. I think I mentioned that. It should be a great travel guitar. I'll take it on a couple of trips, see what I think about it, see how I like it. I may keep it for that. Nothing. If I keep it for nothing else, that's probably what I'll keep it for. If you're looking for something like this, I just don't think you can do better for the price. Amazon's got a good return policy. If you get it and you decide you don't like it, you can always send it back. Really well made guitar, and they do a good job. They do a good job setting them up and making sure that you're getting something that's definitely playable right out of the box, which not all companies do that. So maybe I'll update you in the future on whether this is something that I've learned how to love or not. But for now, it's okay. See you next time.